see here. And then we're going to run through. Hi, Kendall and Linda are hopping on. I'm going to run through our slideshow really quick because we do have some really exciting announcements tonight, which is going to be fun too. Here we go. All right, so welcome to the Team Nourished Team Call. This is September the 16th. We are halfway through the month of September, and we are ready to do a little bit of recognition to kick off the call tonight. So first off, we're going to recognize our weekly top 5. So congrats to Jamie Runner, to Michelle King, to Laura Costa, to Carrie Summers, and to Erica Trout. You guys, if you are brand new to the call or you are watching the recording and you don't know already, the weekly top 5 is made up of coaches who are enrolling other coaches, selling challenge packs, or in general personal sales. So like if Cindy down the street wants to just buy some power greens from you, that all goes into your PV or your personal sales volume. And so that gets you on our weekly top 5. So congratulations, ladies. I love seeing some new faces on the board. Always really fun to see where everybody shakes down at the end of the week. And then we always recognize Success Club. So again, just in case you don't know the jargon, Success Club is a point system that Beachbody uses. It assigns a value system to each challenge pack you sell. And so for every one challenge pack or total solution pack, as they're calling them now, you get 2 Success Club points. So congratulations to Emma Shaw, who's at SC4, and myself, who's also at SC4. And then those of you on the board so far, we have Carrie Summers at SC2, Michelle King at SC2, Robin Aldrich at SC2, Samantha Brannon at SC2, Megan Pickup at SC2, and Karen Ganser at SC2. You guys, there's still half a month left. We also have the mixed bike that is coming down the pipeline on the 21st, which we are all really, really, really excited about. And since I'm talking about the mixed bike, I did want to correct myself. If you were on the team call last week and we were talking about the mixed bike and all of that, there was a couple of things that I said I was either unsure about or I may have given incorrect information. Just so you know, the purchase of the mixed bike does not come with a challenge pack. Those 2 things will be sold separately on separate websites. The thing that I absolutely said incorrectly, and I want to make sure that I correct, and I'll also make sure I make a post about it in our team page, is you will not be able to send a share a cart that will include a mixed bike. So you will have to send them, and I'll give you guys, if I have a PDF or an image put together so that you can literally, when you're ready to sell one, you send them that and it will tell them, go to this website, put in this email. This is your promo code. It will walk them straight through it. And then you will also send them, if they're a brand new person who does not have BOD, you'll also send them a share cart for their Beachbody total solution pack that'll include BOD and their month of body. So we will get that all nailed down as soon as we get going with it. I am super excited. And like I told you guys, I know that they are not selling them in Hawaii, which is big sad face, but I am resourceful. And I have figured out that there is a company in California that I can order stuff and have it shipped to, and then they'll ship it to me. So while everybody else in the mainland gets free shipping, Hawaii never gets free shipping anyway. So I'll just free ship it to California and then ship it here. So there are always solutions around any problem. And then the other thing that I wanted to make sure that we noted about that, because I know that we've had a lot of discussions about the mixed bike. If you have a spouse account already loaded, you are going to want to purchase the mixed bike underneath of your spouse account so that you get the commission, which is just another way for you to save money on the bike that you're going to be using and loving. So very excited about that. We have some rank recognition today, which I'm super, super pumped about. Congratulations to Megan Pickup, who hit Emerald today. So super excited. You guys probably remember Megan from last year. She had some personal hardships and could not maintain coaching at all. She has come back. She is Emerald. I am super excited about her. She's a part of Renee Coates' team, which is the reason Renee is back to Diamond this month. So this week. Congratulations, Renee, for getting your Diamond back. I know the reality is we never, ever, ever want to lose it, but it happens. So I think it's even more telling when you can get it back and you have a solid plan to keep it and continue to grow. So congratulations to all of our diamonds. And I'm sure you guys saw Jackie's post today, but our team officially went into 6-star qualification, which is a rank advancement for this year, which is really, really huge for our team. So congratulations to Amanda Harold's team, Michelle King's team, Carrie Summers' team, Renee Coates' team, my second CBC, and then my husband, because remember, you guys, after you hit 2-star, you get to open a duplicate version of yourself. And when you open that duplicate version of yourself, you get to be a diamond on your own team. You literally just recruited yourself, which is amazing. Like, thank you, Beachbody, for putting that in place. It literally is like the best thing ever. So just so you know, every single week, I'm going to be giving you guys updates. If you are part of those teams, reach out to your upline, make sure that you are plugged in, make sure that you know what your plan is to continue to grow every single week. So very, very excited for our team and can't wait for October the 20th. That's the big day. So circle it on your calendar. October the 20th, that will be the day that our team goes 6-star official. So just in case you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about and you're like, Emerald, what? This is Emerald. It's literally 2 active coaches. Like, for example, Megan Pickup, who just went Emerald, she has a customer that she signed up with a total solution pack as a coach. And then she also has her husband. That's literally it. Homegirl just popped Emerald. You continue to grow just like this. You have 2 emeralds. You can do that with your husband and your best friend, or somebody who's getting killer results and they're sharing it with them. That's literally it. And then again, I'm not going to sit here and read all this. I want to make sure that Kendrya has as much time as humanly possible. But you guys, this here explains why to get to Emerald and why SC10 and SC5, and then why advance to Diamond, which we're going to do a quick little announcement as always about that. But in case you are wanting to know what Beachbody is talking about, we have a big thing coming up in October. October is always the month that we do our team cup. So you can read here, it's a team of 5 total. So you have 4 other coaches other than yourself. You all team up, you're all encouraging one another, keeping each other accountable. I'm going to have a really cool system for you guys where it's like, it kind of looks like, I don't know if you guys have heard of 75 hard, that challenge that's been like trolling around the internet for health and fitness, but this is going to be the 30, it's not hard. I can't remember what the name of it. It's like 30, working 30. I think it's called the working 30 challenge. And so literally every day you have these little bubbles to like check off to keep your consistency, and you just keep going with those coach activities. And so we're going to have that for you guys. There's going to be special trainings and different calls to hop on. But this is going to be the big push that's going to push you into the 4th quarter, that is going to help you guys hit your goals. I know a lot of you still have Diamond in your eyesight. I know a lot of you have 1 star in your eyesight. And so this is the way to do that. It is amazing. So if you are ready to get on that, get in the chat with other people back and forth, say, hey, I need a team, or hey, whatever, I want to be on a team, or I want to lead a team. You guys can do that. And we're going to put together some teams, and I'm really excited about that. Registration has already begun, and it goes until October the 5th. And our last little announcement really quick is our Limitlessly Nourished Diamond Retreat, which is January 13th through the 16th in Charleston, South Carolina. We are teaming up with Jen Hines' team, and we are going to be hosting a diamond retreat in South Carolina. I am so beyond excited. You guys know the qualification for that is hit diamond and hold it 6 weeks in the 3rd or 4th quarter of the year. And so the girls that you saw that just hit diamond, they're gunning for this, you guys. They want to be together in South Carolina. We're going to have amazing training from some of our sister coaches teams that, like I said on our call last week, Charleston is just ripe with incredible coaching right now. And so we have a lot of opportunities to get trained by some of the top leaders. We're going to have a photo shoot. We're going to have adventure day. Like, it's all going to be so much fun. So be sure that you get the details from that. I am putting together private pods and one-on-one coaching. So if you've reached out to me about that, just know that as of tomorrow, we needed to get into 6-star qual before I could focus on that. And as of tomorrow, I will get you guys loaded up with some private mentorship and pods. So let's welcome Kendrya Close. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. So she is our special guest speaker. I was telling Linda today, she and I had a one-on-one, and she was like, oh, tell me about this lady. And I said, well, the very first time I ever met her was on a cruise ship. And I remember this like tall, leggy blonde who is tan as tan can be and super tall. Like, you guys, I remember being, I don't know how tall you are, Kendrya, but like
5'11".
5'11". Yeah. I remember being like, wow, she is so tall and so gorgeous. And just even more than that. And this is the one thing, and hopefully people take this as a compliment. But when I meet somebody who absolutely to their core knows who they are and are confident in it and don't have to be showy and loud and like going all around the place, like they just know who they are and they're quietly confident, that's how I see you. And I'm so attracted to that quality in people. And I just think like how beautiful it is to live a life knowing who you are. And so I think that's what I want for everybody. I want them to know who they are and be confident in that. And that's exactly what I see in you. She is some Beachbody stats, 5-star diamond in her first CBC. She is already qualified for elite for next year, which is
Finally.
like, that's huge. We're like barely over half the year and you are already qualified for elite, which is absolutely massive. You're 3-star in her third or in your third CBC, which again, you were like, oh, I mean, that's okay. No, that's freaking huge. 3-star in your set. That means at least, if not more, because we all know that just because you got 8 diamonds does not mean you only got 8 diamonds. At least 8 diamonds that she has popped, which is absolutely fantastic. She is a 2-time premier coach. And one of the reasons why I asked her on this call is because she also, and you'll have to elaborate on your story, but she works for a nonprofit and absolutely loves it and doesn't want to leave it. And she's still freaking killing it and coaching right beside it. And I think so many people get on this team, and because I'm a full-time coach and this is my full-time job, they think that that's what they have to do to be successful and to get income in this and to have rank. And that's not true. And so that's why I asked you on. So I'm going to mute myself, let you take over. And if you need anything, just tell me to unmute.
And I want to say that diamond retreat, you and Jen Hines are like 2 of my favorite people in this business. You ladies are going to have the best time. Oh my God. All right. Well, thank you for having me on. You didn't give me a time limit, so I'm going to try to, but I have a lot of notes. I don't want to miss anything. So my name is Kendrya. I live in New Jersey, so I'm East Coast time right now. I'm not a Jersey girl. I came here by way of Indiana to Ohio to here reluctantly. But I've been here 20 years, so I need to start identifying, I think. I have 3 children, 20, which still like catches in my throat to say that I have a 20-year-old in college, 17 and 15, and my husband. So, and very supportive of this work and what we do. When I was young, when my kids were younger, I led a chapter of something called the Holistic Moms. And I only say that because we wrote a cookbook. So I wanted Danielle to know that. I mean, it was like a church lady cookbook, but we wrote a cookbook. But my degree is in environmental science. I have a passion and love for food and nutrition and health. But I run a nonprofit. So I founded a nonprofit in 2008 called the Food Shed Alliance. And it is we're in New Jersey. We are focused on fixing our food system, the long-term legacy and change of our food, the future of our food. I'm the executive director of that nonprofit. And as Danielle said, it's my heart and soul. I consider myself an activist at heart, and I want to save the planet and the climate, but we're going to just start with food for now. So that's the lens I use. I also love the beach and martinis and being outside and Broadway musicals. So I turned 52 this year. And so my big why for my health has always been longevity. I always say I'm going to live to be over 100. So I'm only halfway. So my journey, I came into Beachbody with 0 intent of coaching, no intent. I know a lot of people say that. There was no way. I had a nonprofit. My kids were young. I came in for a month because my best friend bullied me into it. You know, Jess Griffin said 2 months before I finally said yes. And I said, fine, but I'm canceling the shakes as soon as I come in. And I'll do it because you asked me, because in my mind, I knew nutrition. I CrossFit in a gym. I didn't need this. But you know the rest of the story. Obviously I did. But what happened, 2 key things that happened leading up to the few months before I decided to coach was that my husband came down with debilitating Lyme's disease. And if anyone has ever dealt with that, it was debilitating. And it was an undiagnosed thing for 2 years, a week. I just watched him suffer in a way that I had never seen. It was so confusing. And when it was finally diagnosed as Lyme's, immediately it was medication that tore up his gut and made things worse. And for a few months, I'd been doing all the Beachbody pieces, and he met with an infectious disease specialist who said, you really need to dig into nutrition. I mean, thank God for doctors like that. And so I said, okay, then maybe you should do this thing I'm doing. I mean, I've been hiding the shakes. I didn't want anybody else drinking them, so I meant maybe you should be doing this. So I literally coached my husband out of Lyme's disease in 3 months. And I know I can't make a medical claim. I'm not a doctor, but to this day, I am convinced that that is what happened by putting all of these pieces of this program together. And so I said to Jess, well, I'm going to sign Rick up because obviously he's going to do this too. And if anyone knows Jess Griffin, she said, well, if you're going to sign him up, sign up a few more. And then you can get on this retreat in Isle of Palm, South Carolina. And I was like, well, anything for a girls' weekend. So I can sign some people up. In fact, a funny story is when I helped my husband to Emerald, it was by signing up his ex-wife. Like at that point, I was stopping at nothing because I'm going on this retreat. I'm like, what the heck? But like many of you, right, that have started this, I just wanted other people to see how great all this was. That was my reason for coaching. I mean, I wanted the retreat, but I did not get the MLM structure. I was not motivated at the time by money because I didn't understand it. So I wasn't coming into it. I had no Instagram, and I named my Instagram Kendrya123. It's like the lamest, it's so lame. And to this day, I have 1,000 followers. I think half are my kids' friends. I mean, I came into this with no idea how to do this thing. But Tony Robbins says you come into something new from either inspiration or desperation. And I was inspired as hell. I was inspired as hell, and I was a cheerleader, and I knew I had a lot of stuff to share that people wanted to hear. So I said, I'm going to do this. And that became my why, and helping people became my why, and getting on that retreat. So the type A in me said, show me a map, get to Diamond, sign up the people, get on the retreat. Like Danielle said, don't drop Diamond, get in Success Club. It was a formula, and I followed it, and I followed it to a T until they told me, now you should build a team. I said, no, thanks. No, thanks. Because after Diamond was comfortable, and I got there and I was so happy. And then there was something more I had to do, and in my mind, I thought, no, I am fine at Diamond. And I sat at Diamond for 2 years. 2 years I sat at Diamond. And at that point, like the first few months, it was fine. And I was fine sitting at Diamond. But what happens, I think, is you're just enrolling people, right? You're enrolling people, helping them. People start to fall out the back end. A coach cancel comes through. You start to feel rejected. You're just living on commission. And there's not a lot of income that way. There's not a lot of income to just sit at Diamond when you build fast and furious with nothing behind it to back it up, and no idea how to build a team or what that looks like. And so I wasn't finding the joy anymore. Like the carrot was dangled, I got it. And it didn't feel like my why was strong enough, that why for helping people. I don't know if you've heard that story. I think Tony Robbins says it about a castle with a big moat around it with the barbed wire and the alligators and all this stuff. And up at the top of that tower on a bed is your why. And for me, that was helping women. And like that on the hard days, I wasn't going through all of that for that why. I wasn't going through it. And for what little I felt at the time I was earning for being a Diamond coach. So I knew something had to change. And I knew every top coach I'd ever heard said that it changes at 2-star. I didn't understand it. I didn't know why, just like I didn't know why everybody says sign up your spouse, it's what everyone said. And so I followed that formula. So I made a decision. I literally just made a decision. And I didn't want to build Rick. So I wasn't quite that coachable because I said, I'm not going to build my husband. I want to make a team. Like, don't be stubborn. So this was October. And I said, I'm going to give myself to the end of the year. I had one semi-working coach, but I thought, all right, I'm going to give myself to the end of the year, but I'm going to go all in. And I ran ads. I ran sneak peeks every month, sneak peeks with one person in them. I mean, I seriously faked it until I made it. Like I did all the things I was super uncomfortable doing. I made a team name, I made a team page, all the things they said to do. And I made that decision. And it was July, we came home from Summit. It was our last in-person summit. I came home from Summit and thought, I can't come back to another summit. Like who knew there wasn't gonna be another summit? I bought myself some time. I can't come back to another summit in this position. So I did all those things. And in October, I found a second working coach. And I hooked into these 2 women that I had because it was all I had. And so I saw a path. And by Christmas, I was 2-star. Like literally like the 24th, I know the 6-week hold, Danielle, like the 24th, I was 12 PV short somewhere. And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. So I did that. And then in January, my first Diamond quit. So 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But what it did allow me is to open that second business center, which again, made no sense to me. I'm like, my God, I have to enroll more people but I knew how to do it. And I knew I could control my own business that way. So I got my second CBC to Diamond as soon as I can to make up for the one I lost. You know, I put her on the same side. Now, funny thing, this is why I'm 3-star in my second CBC. I kept enrolling people in my second CBC that I didn't realize were going to coach. And then I had 3 people go diamond there. So I had 2 and I had 3, but they don't combine them. They don't combine them. But what I did see, and I saw it in a matter of months, that my income changed. Now, instead of just paying for this business, paying for my product and my family's product, I took my husband on a trip to Napa, and then it became a family vacation to Clearwater Beach. And then my son's room and board for college, and like all these tangible things that I wasn't able to do before. And that's where, when Danielle says you don't have to go all in as a full-time coach to see income, you truly don't. You have to know the formula and do the things in the right order. You know, because like the castle and the moat, like I'm not going to go through all that to that bed to help someone that maybe just wants to lose 5 pounds. I'm not going to do that on the hard day, but you better believe I'm going to go there to have a 0 credit card debt or to pay for my son's room and board in college. That was a more powerful why. And it's not because money is my why. It's what the money represented. It's the things that it allowed me to be able to do. And so the income became very important. And again, I want to reiterate, I love my job. It's my deep passion. I'm not looking to leave it, but you know, there's salary caps and it's a nonprofit. If I have to raise money for my organization if I want to pay myself more. And then I probably won't do that because I want to put it back in the organization. So this gave me this other side that didn't have that cap anymore, you know, that extra. And then what I found is, in building a team, I was suddenly finding the joy in this business again. I didn't know that I wanted that. You know, it's like, I really didn't know what I didn't know. I spent 2 years saying, Diamond is good. I don't want to coach women to be coaches. It's all I can do to be one myself. I was so stubborn. But when I started leading a team, it made all the difference in the world. And that this isn't a huge team. It's just a team of a few women that band together with you. It's like a sisterhood. I was in a sorority. It felt right to me, you know, at 50 years old, I'm like, oh, I've got these women. But I know some tangible things that I want to be helpful. And I will say, for me, it really, truly started with a mindset shift to saying, I'm going to do this. But the first thing I had to do was make it my own. The comparison game is strong, right? And it's important to remember that it is not one size fits all. I think so many times if you're stuck on where you're going, it's because you're trying too hard to do it like someone else, and to be someone you're not. Do what other coaches are doing, post like other coaches are posting. And when you start doing that, you don't feel good because you're not being authentic, but the people that are supposed to find you can't find you. They need to see you. And so for me, I had to stop being like all of my upline, and I had to make it my own, even though it wasn't always what everybody did. I had to get out of the time excuse. And to anyone saying that, you know, I don't want to be callous, but if it's important enough, you find the time. I think we all know that. I think every one of us here has their own version of a really busy schedule, really busy schedule. And Rachel Hollis says, if you can tell me about last season of This Is Us or Game of Thrones or whatever your show of choice is, you have the time. You're just spending it doing other things. And I'm here to say, I watch This Is Us. It's not that I don't. It's we prioritize. I'm not a workaholic. I eat dinner with my family at the table every night. You know, I took a really hard look at the pockets of time. Do I need to wind down with 3 hours of shows a night? No, maybe one every few days. You know, like when you really like gut check yourself with where you're spending your time, it's easy to be like, I don't have the time. Really, I challenge you to sit and look at your day. For me, I'm a morning person, so this is easy, but I don't just don't hit snooze. Just set the alarm and get up. I found pockets in the morning. Scrolling, the mindless scrolling on the phone. We all know we do it. We all know we do it, right? And when you add up that time, I just became a time management champ. And so I think you just have to look at that. The other thing for me, because I have this other work, is I spend the time on things to grow my business. I do not get lost in the minutia. For me, that's Canva, that's graphics, that's free groups, newsletters. I hired a virtual assistant to help me with that. Someone who can do that 10 times faster than me, like arguing with my teenager about creating a graphic for me, you know, because I'm frustrated and can't do it. I don't do those things. Danielle does my meal plans. Like I outsourced. you have to do some of that. Don't try to do it all yourself. My time is focused very solely on a few things: sneak peeks, recruiting and running them, and then mentoring the women that come in. My challenge group, right? I mean, we have to get people results. That's the work we do. Getting on my team call and inviting. Like, those are like, just boil it down. And because I have all these other things I do, I don't have the luxury of, someone that just coaches for a living who can do the graphics and learn those and run a freebie and run a free group or do reels. My God, I've never done a reel. I know that's crazy. Like, everyone's supposed to be doing reels. Do you know what it would take for me to sit down and do a reel? It'd be half an afternoon. So I know that. So I don't spend my time in this business doing the minutia, which to me is minutia, which to other people, you can probably throw a graphic together in 30 seconds. I'm not a technology. I mean, you guys, I do think this is my to-do list. Like, it's paper and pencil. I don't do anything electronically. So, it's nice. Those things are nice, but they're not necessary to run this business. And I think when you have another job or another line of work, we can tend to stay in the mind space that Beachbody is this expendable thing, right? Like, it's the thing we can push aside. And I said this to Danielle, and I heard it at a conference once. I finally decided to take divorce off the table. Take the option of leaving it off the table. And I did that by growing it so that the money was not so little that I could always have one foot out the door, right? Because now it became something I was counting on. I grew it so that I have all these other women counting on me to lead them. I can't go anywhere. It's not that easy. I don't get to use that other job excuse. Women I am responsible for, income that represents things that I'm responsible for in my family. I can't walk away from that. When I was at Diamond, I could walk away from that, but I grew it to the point because I knew I wanted to stop thinking that way. I look at it as though I have two jobs. They're both full-time, and that full-time looks different on different days. It's a balance. They are equally important to me, both things. One does not get to higher rank anymore because I was constantly saying that. Well, my full-time job, they're both equally important to me. And I think we have to almost stop calling this a side gig or a side hustle, because I think we do it a disservice when we say that. I think it allows us to give up too easily. And I will end with two of my favorite things that Christina Delgado said in one of our retreats. One of the things is, she said, the only difference between me and you is I didn't quit when it got hard. I mean, I didn't quit when my first diamond quit. It hurt. It really hurt. I didn't quit when I realized all my diamonds were in my second CBC and not my first, which meant I couldn't go elite because I didn't have the 5 and 1, even though I had the points, so you just can't quit on those days. And she also said that what she sees happen so often is that Beachbody, like, people tend to say, oh, I'm going to take a step back, or I'm going to back off from Beachbody. She's like, Beachbody is the thing that has the power to save everything. Your health is bad. Beachbody has the tools to help you with that. You need to earn extra income. That opportunity is there. You need a community of women to support you because you're feeling lonely and isolated. Guess what? Beachbody's there. And she says, Beachbody is the thing you should be running towards, not the thing you should be running away from or taking a backseat from. So that's all I have.
Oh my gosh, you are so fast.
I know the jersey came out.
I'm glad that I kind of am glad, because now we have a chance to ask you specific questions. I feel like, so our calls are usually about 45 minutes to an hour. So is that okay for you? Because I know like
I'm wired up now.
I know you get fired up.
I'm gonna need a martini after this.
Right. So no, and I think I was taking notes and like writing in the chat. That's so impactful. So many of the things that you said, and I loved a couple of the things that I like highlighted that I thought were really, really like impactful and powerful to me, was the analogy of the moat and the cast. I've never heard that. I've been to a lot of conferences and never heard that, but like, I'm such a word picture girl. And so the idea of putting something on the bed to go save, like, I'm not going to do that for piddly crap. Right. But like, if I put my kids' private school tuition up there, you better believe I'm gonna figure out a way to get over those alligators. Like, I'm gonna keep going, and then I loved the big, like, what does the money represent? Because I think when you are, when you have a steady, sustainable income, and then there is a way to make other income, it kind of gets hard to dream bigger, maybe for some people. Because I think, and maybe you can talk a little more about that. Like if you've ever experienced a time where it felt weird to dream bigger, or if that's not something.
It felt almost ungracious
Okay.
because I'm like, well, here I am with this job and this salary, making this money. And now here's this opportunity to make it here. And I fought making it about money. Like I really fought like, I don't need the money. I'm not doing it for the money. I never lead with money, but the reality is it's not the dollar. It's not the dollar. It's not it's what it represents. Like you said, when I started attaching something to the money, it became a lot more significant to me. It didn't feel so icky,
Right.
and whatever crazy mindset we as women might have around money. I'm sure there's some baggage there for me, but for me, I didn't want a number of a paycheck. I wanted that to represent room and board, groceries for my son at college. Like it needed to represent something that would have been really hard to do.
Right.
It was an extra. I bought my son a car for college. I could not have done that without Beachbody, without that safety net and that comfort, And so that it represents that for my children, not a dollar amount.
No, and I think that that's incredibly powerful. I mean, and I think so many women here, the thing with our team is we got a lot of big hearts, right? A lot of people that, I hear it a lot. It's like, I would do this for free and I just want to help people. And like, if there was a way that I could help people and not charge them money, like I would do it. And I totally get that. But I also see light bulbs turn on and action begin to get taken when there is a carrot at the end of the stick that's big and important to you. When you want to take your husband to Napa and not tap into that. Excuse me a second, if you would not mind.
Is that your door there?
Yes, my neighbor is ringing the door and I need to tell him my children are not home. Excuse me.
Oh my God, I thought I heard doorbells ringing. My God.
I thought it was going to be Davin and Eden that were doing it.
I couldn't tell where it was. I didn't realize it was her house.
Oh,
that's funny. Is anyone else on the East Coast or just me?
I'm on the East Coast.
You are? Where are you, Karen?
Yep.
Y'all, I am so sorry. And Linda, this is exactly what we were talking about on our call today about the boundaries, except this is not my children, it's my neighbor's children who are like sitting down there ringing and ringing. I'm like, obviously no one is home. Let's discuss how not to do that. No, but I think that that's so impactful. So can you share and I know every day looks different. I know that. And I mean, even from somebody that that this is my full-time primary source of income, I struggle, just like many people do, to figure out my rhythm in that. And when you work for yourself, I think about when I worked for an employer, they kind of dictated what my day looked like, right? They gave me a list of these are the tasks that we've got to accomplish today. And I might be able to maneuver it some, but I had to do their bidding. Whereas when this is, I feel like sometimes there's a little too much freedom.
Yeah.
And then, my kids are in school and I'm like, okay, so what do? I'm going to play with graphics and make stupid reels for 3 hours and never actually do any income producing activities. So could you run down maybe what a normal day for you might look like, between your work and your nonprofit work and this?
Yeah. So because I'm a big believer in time blocking because otherwise I will whack-a-mole all over the place. And it's taken me a while to stand firm in that, but the reality is we have that control, right? So for me, I get up early and I do a lot of my Beachbody work on the early side because none of my nonprofit people are up working. So it allows me to be able to focus on that. And it's not until about 9 a.m. when I can switch gears. But I don't say, okay, 9 to 5, because I do have flexibility. I don't have to go into a job 9 to 5. I'm able to, the work has to get done, right? So I schedule. People in my Food Shed Alliance world know that Kendrya doesn't do night meetings because usually in the evening, if I'm working, I'm doing this or I'm with my family, but I do not block Food Shed Alliance meetings. So I've kind of set that boundary. And most of the time my food shed day is like 9 to 12. Then I'll take a 12 to 2 window to do Beachbody work. And then I do food shed, and that's it. And meanwhile, when I say morning is Beachbody work, that includes my workout, because we have to remember everything we're doing, we're working out. That's part of our job. That is absolutely part of our job. So that is not extra, it's included in there. And then I work hard to unplug and take weekends off. I really do not like working weekends. I think I will burn out so fast. I would rather work harder in the pockets and know that I have time off at the end. Yeah, for sure. But I definitely block. I'm not doing 5 minutes here, jumping to this, jumping to that. I can't. I have to shut one thing down.
And I think that's really important. Like in the word that, and maybe this is just the word of the day. I don't know if anybody has like one of those word of the day calendars, but I feel like the word of the day is boundaries. Like every conversation I've had, boundaries have come up, boundaries. And I think that learning how to navigate appropriate boundaries between Beachbody work, home life, family life. I love that you said, like, you guys sit down for dinner every night and you're not sitting there on your phone sending, stuff, but it is really important to learn how to navigate those boundaries and then hold those. I think so many people feel guilty, like you said, because it was like you put your full-time job up here and Beachbody down here. And so if anybody in the full-time job needed anything ever, it just slapped Beachbody down, and then it never got done. So has that been something that has been an evolving thing, or is that something that,
Yeah, believe me, this is 4 years of evolving. I didn't do it, but because I spent 2 years saying this second thing is not as important, like you said. So this will always, and truthfully, my family for sure becomes above all that. But when it comes to the 2 jobs, like I said, I treat it as 2 full-time jobs. Just different hours, different days, different tasks needed, but one doesn't get to usurp the other. Mm-hmm. Different seasons, like in October, we have a gala. You better believe I'm going to be really focused on that gala. But I know there are times when I'm really focused on Beachbody more too, right? I get to go to Arizona in 2 weeks and I'm going to be there, like I get to be there for a week and I'm not worried at all about my other job during that time, Yeah. No, but one does not have power over the other anymore. And it did for a long time.
Right. Well, and I would say, I think I liked what you said about like, I guess I should say, I appreciate you admitting that it felt like you weren't getting paid adequately enough to make that a full-time kind of thing, but realizing like you have the power to make that income more,
I was stubborn. No, truthfully, I was stubborn. And I thought I should be doing it this way, but that's not how the compensation structure works. Right. And so if you do it the way it works, it will work for you.
Absolutely.
And I wish I hadn't taken 2 years to do that, but that's okay.
You're in good company. I was a diamond for 2 years as well, until I finally, and I love that you admitted that you did not want to build your husband. Like that speaks straight to my soul. I kicked and screamed, and my girls know, like, and it's funny because you're going to recruit you, right? Like, I don't know if any of your girls on your team are little carbon copies of you, and they struggle with the same things. And they're like, well, I don't like seeing my husband's name on the recognition board. And I'm like, yeah, me neither. Like, how petty, right? Like, it's all going into the same bank account. But I'm like, no, just so you know, Matt Porter did not recruit those people.
As if anyone thought that.
Yeah, just in case. And we all know that that's not the case, but it's so funny. And so many of the coaches in our downline really struggle to start building their spouse's account. But I would say that has been one of the biggest game-changing things for me, has been to realize that we have this incredible power in the income structure of being allowed. Like I said, when I was allowed to open that second CBC, I now had 2 controlled business centers that all funneled into my one primary bank account. So I get paid every Thursday. I get 3 paychecks from Beachbody. I get my first CBC paycheck, my husband's paycheck, and then my second CBC paycheck. And in the beginning, those, they're $14 every couple of weeks. And now, Beachbody income disclaimer and all of that, we're looking at hundreds of dollars every week, and that stuff adds up fast. So
does add up. And the beauty of my second CBC is I got to open a third CBC because, and that wasn't ever my intent.
Right.
to do it that way, but I had to look at the silver lining. But yeah, absolutely. I think, I was so set on, I want a team. I'm not going to build my husband. And that was short-sighted, because that was saying I'm only going to get to 2-star and stop. But that's not the way it works. That was, if you use him, get to 2-star, the team grows from there. It's momentum begetting momentum.
Right.
It doesn't stop there. So if there's any advice, don't dig your heels in about that, because I really did. And I didn't build him until 5-star.
No, I didn't. I built Matt for 1-star for NLC for my girls.
NLC. Yeah. And
no,
if any of you
literally.
I know are like on the trying to get to 1-star for NLC, it's 1,000 times worth it.
It is.
And again, everybody said that to me, and I'm like, oh, it was a 2-day conference. It was unbelievable. One of my favorite Beachbody things ever.
Yeah, NLC. I'm excited for leadership because I've never been to leadership, and I've heard that's even better. But NLC is such like this small community. Like, I think it was really cool. And I know you guys had your own summit as well. So you guys had this similar experience in Chicago. But with our summit in Austin, it was so cool to have this like smaller group. But it was like, and those of you that were in Austin with us, NLC is very similar to that, except with corporates backing. So like where we had Moira and all of the things were really great, you're looking at corporate and new product launches and having all of those resources poured into you, not the masses, but you, and where you are right then and there. And like, I don't know, I think NLC is one of the best things, but it was 100%. And I know lots, again, you recruit yourself, right? In so many ways. So many of my girls are carrot girls. It's like, oh, NLC, here it is. And you're like, okay, I'll go do that for NLC. Diamond retreat over here. Okay, I'll go do that for diamond retreat. But you know what? It's worked really well. It's given me.
There's a reason these things are put into place. There's a formula and it works. And I think the more you fight it, and I fought it a long time, just don't. Just trust the process. Just like we trust the process in our wellness group with the tools. In the beginning, we tell women, trust the process. These pieces are made to work if you put them into place. If you come in the wellness group and say, I'm going to do this and this, but not this and this, you're not going to get the same results. And it's the same with the coaching business. It's so easy to fight that.
Louder and louder and louder. Yes. There's so many parallels between, I mean, if you had and lots of you guys do your own wellness groups. And so you have girls that kick and scream and they act uncoachable. And they're like, well, I'll do my workouts, but I'm not drinking that shake. Well, I'll do my workouts, but I'm not going to drink that water. I only like Diet Coke. And they get Diet Coke results. And all you think of is like, if you would just do what I told you to do, coaching's the same way. Like when we give you the 30 days to diamond sheet and you're like, well, that's fine, but I'm not signing up my husband. Well, that's fine, but I'm not going to invite anybody. Well, that's fine, but I'm never going to post on Instagram. Like, it's kind of like, all right, well, you're going to get Diet Coke results then.
That's so good.
So no, I love that so much. And I love that so when you say you get up early, what time is that?
Oh, like 5:15. This is not like the middle of the night when I say that. I don't screw around. Like, it's so easy to get up and get the phone and a half hour goes by because you're checking stuff from the night before. Like you said, listening to Marco Polo's like, I have trained myself not to do that. Yeah. I want to just sit in my chair and do that, but I just don't. I also know my productivity window, and I'm a morning person. So I know the bulk of what I'm going to do well is going to be early. Yeah. And as the day goes on, it's going to get harder. So
amen to that. I mean,
I'm inviting in the morning
because by the end of the day, your energy is gone. You're not excited.
And I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow.
Right. Oh yeah. It always seems easier to just put it off. Well, you guys, do y'all have any, I'm going to scan the chat really quick, but take yourself off mute. If you have a question for Kendrya, don't be shy. And I'm sure, just knowing her, she's an open book, so you can ask her whatever you want. I'm giving them their.
I don't care. You're not all Hawaii, right, Danielle? They're not all. No. Okay.
No, we got Tennessee, Iowa, Missouri, Virginia, Tennessee, DC, Virginia. I can't remember that one. One Hawaii. Lots of all overs. So what, no, oh, Carrie unmuted. Ask your question, girl.
I don't have a question. I was just gonna tell Kendrya I was on that cruise too. What was it, 2019?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the last
That
trip
was-
we went on.
Yeah,
Isn't that crazy? And you're all
It's
going, you're gonna be
wild.
in Dominican, I assume.
Mhm.
yes, yes,
Can't come soon enough.
right? I'm ready for a
Yeah.
Caribbean
No, me
vacation,
too. I know.
paid for by the Beachbody.
I know. Is Matt coming to Arizona with you?
No, he's not. He's going to hang out with the kids. So, which I always appreciate. So, it'll be me.
That's
It will be
just
me.
fine.
I know. Renee, you unmuted?
I did unmute. I have a question. So Danielle figured out part of my problem at the end of last month is that I work for a nonprofit and we work in crisis services. And so I think I do a lot of things in that mode where like, a crisis comes up at work and I drop something and I go and deal with this crisis. And then, like all my clients are like rotating in crisis throughout like their lives. And so it's constantly like that. So I think that I was working like that. Like I'd get to, I would tell myself like, I have time, and push off, really doing the things that I should be doing to build my business. And then at the end, I'm like in that crisis mode where I do work well under crisis and in crisis, but that's not really how I want to operate my business. So I figured out part of my issue. So that's part of the issue that I'm trying to learn to deal with. But the other part of it is I have a 2-hour commute too. So like when you talk about like pockets of time, like that makes sense to me, but I don't know like how, and this is going to sound kind of silly, but how did you decide like what pockets go where? Because like I wish I could just do like 2 hours in the afternoon from like that 12 to 2, because that would be like the perfect time for me. That is like my go time. And so I wish that I could stop what I, like my full-time job and do that, because I think that would be awesome, but I can't quite do that. And I have morning time and then I have like evening time, but like I don't want to take away from my family, because then that kind of brings on this whole other set of guilt. So like, how do you decide like what pockets were what, or like when?
Well, and I will say, Renee, it changes each day based on like where I am in the month. If we're at the start of a month and I need to recruit a lot, then I'm maybe heavier on Beachbody. Whereas I have a big thing where I want to get an SC and have that done the first week of the month, so that I'm not doing that. So like you said, you're not in crisis mode. And then listen, just because you're in crisis mode with your nonprofit doesn't mean you have to be in crisis mode with this business. Like this is the place you're allowed to not be, right? But a 2-hour commute, heck, I would be listening to the team calls I missed, any trainings I missed. I would be voice messaging people on Facebook to invite them. I would be like, boop, 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 I would put it on speaker and I would just use that time with notes in the car and these names I'm going to invite. I would, because that 2 hours is a long time to, have that time in the car, use it wisely.
I guess Danielle has mentioned that before too. I guess I wasn't really thinking about just sitting there and inviting people by voice. I mean, we've talked about
I'm a big believer in voices. Yeah, I'm a big believer in voice message inviting. So you say, okay, on the drive today, I'm going to voice, because obviously you're driving, you're not going to type, but you're voice messaging 10 people on the drive today to invite them, or following up with 10 people. And with voice, you can do that. Yeah. I would rather invite less people, more quality using my voice than to bang out a bunch of written ones that are going to be ignored. I just think it's much more authentic.
Okay.
And if I can like shout that from a mountaintop, use your voice in a world that is increasingly technology based, use your voice. Like when you feel like you're being ignored, and this is just kind of maybe sneaky marketing, but like if somebody, this is going to sound really sneaky marketing here, guys, but I have an Apple Watch, right? And so if Renee messages me and she says, hey girls, hope you had a great summer, just wanted to see if you were interested in my boot camp, I can read that right here. And Renee don't ever know I checked my messages, and that's not a priority to me. But if Renee sends me a voice message and I'm like, oh, what is that? and I go and I listen to it, all of the sudden it's a completely different game changer. You know what I mean? Like when you can't scan and skim, it connects on a very different level. So I would say, you know, if you can do 5 really good quality voice messages over 25 copy and paste crap invites, the 5 are way more powerful because they actually can't, you know, they feel special. They don't feel like you copy and pasted a bunch of crap to everybody.
Yep.
I love that. And a really good question, Renee. Anybody else have any questions? So, Kendrya, I have a question if nobody else. Did somebody unmute? Because I would much rather somebody else ask a question than me talk.
No.
Okay, I thought I saw something flash on the screen. And this is not, actually, I have 2 questions, but we'll start with the recruiting one. So tell them a little bit more when you say I'm recruiting, like, give them an example of what that might sound like for you. Are you still running ads? Are you, you know, how are you getting people into your sneak peeks?
Yes, yeah, almost solely with ads, because
Okay.
I also am in this place of, and probably something I need to work on, but I don't want to recruit on my social media because of my nonprofit and because I have a board of directors and because, you know, I would never talk about income or any of this where that could be in jeopardy, right? So, and it's a lot of board of directors of older men. So I'm not going to go there. So I definitely, you know, I do different free ads for job websites. I don't do Facebook ads and I don't do Instagram because I really don't have followers on Instagram.
Tell us more.
Yeah. So like
Right.
ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn is my biggest thing I do now. I run ads on LinkedIn and that gets people. And so the idea is I get them into a sneak peek. We do a 2-day sneak peek. I do it with Jess.
Yeah.
And then from there, they come in with a challenge pack, right? Because they have to learn the pieces. And we immediately put them in a mentorship program for the month. And that has 3 mentorship calls. So they come in and they plug through. So my coaching piece is recruiting, running the sneak peek, and then running the mentorship. And that might look like 2 or 3 women a month. This is not a ton of women. I mean, you know how the funnel works. You might get 5 interested, 4 actually come in, 3 do something, you know, yeah.
Yeah, no, and I actually love that you are not doing this the traditional social media way, because that's something that, no, but I feel like that needs to be said, because again, my primary means of recruiting and talking to people all comes from Instagram and Facebook. So my team only sees that. So they need to see that there are other ways to do this business very successfully that don't come from that. So
that's why I said make it your own, because I was for 2 years looking at that and thinking, well, that's not going to work, not in the way I work with a nonprofit. That's not going to work. So I either had to keep saying it's not going to work, or I had to figure out another way. And so I figured out another way. We were doing ads through Indeed for a while, but they booted us out.
Yeah. Well, but you're resourceful and you're figuring it out.
Very.
Well, and in my experience as a coach, and as my experience as a coach of coaches and my experience of a coach of clients, the people who are resourceful are the ones that win. They're the ones that are resourceful, or I'm sorry, they're the ones that are successful. They figure out a way to make it work. Like the thing with the mixed bike. I'm sorry. Yes. I'm not going to allow Beachbody to not ship to me. Sorry, I will figure it out. You know, if I have to, Cece told me that I could ship it to her. She would buy a plane ticket and bring it as her checked baggage. I'm like, I got your deal, girl. I want to see you and I get my mixed bike. So like figuring out a way around. I mean, we all pushed together for yesterday to come into 6-star qual. We figured out a way to make it work. And this is totally side note, but I did not realize you had to have 21 coaches in your downline. Like I completely blanked. I just thought, okay, I got 6 diamonds. We're good to go. Life is good. And I start counting and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's only 19.
Oh my God.
So at like 3 o'clock my time yesterday or whatever time it was, I'm like, no, we got to figure this out. So immediately you flip into that resourceful mode. instead of being paralyzed, you flip into how can we figure this out? How can
Well,
we
it's
make this
solution mode, right? I tell my
Right.
kids that, and I tell my staff at my nonprofit, like, please don't come to me with problems, come to me with a solution.
right?
Tell me the solution. That'll inform me that there's a problem, but like, come with the solution, not the like, now what do I do? You have to
Right.
figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that that's so important for all of life, not just, I think about the girls who come into our boot camp and there's an obstacle in the way, like, all right, girl, well, we're going to figure this out. Maybe that does mean you're going to need to get up at 5. I know that doesn't seem like a great solution to you, but if that's what it takes to get your results, then that's what it takes.
You have to change something, because if you didn't have to, you wouldn't be in this. You have to come into this opportunity of coaching knowing that something's going to have to change, right? You just have to rework what you're doing.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
I think that's so many takeaways, so many light bulb moments. I love this. And I'm so grateful for you coming on.
Thank you.
Can we do a quick little Instagram boomerang real quick? And then if people can take themselves off of their stopping video thing. What am I trying to say? Put your video on. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, what am I trying to say here? Yay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And I love what Renee said too, the guilt and not giving up enough time. Like everybody's got that. You have to learn boundaries and stuff. So, all right, you guys, give me your best boomerang, whatever it is, shaka, hair flip, thumbs up, and just keep doing it. So, cheese. Yay. Oh, hold on. Oh, it worked. I don't know. That thing's being crazy. I'm gonna download it. No, let's do it again. One more time. I don't know what happened. Oh, I know what we were doing. We were not on Boomerang. Story of
Just
my
a
life.
video. That's not as fun.
No, and then the phone goes to like this. Okay, one more time. Sorry about that, guys. Bye. Or here, cheese. Why did I say bye? Oh my goodness. All right, you guys. Well, thank you. Please be sure you send Kendra your love. Tell her, how much if there was something feedback wise, like be sure to pass it along and give her your thanks, because we appreciate you staying up late. I know that this is your downtime.
That's okay. I was happy to do it. This was great. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Kendrya. I appreciate it.
Bye.
You guys, I'll see you next week on our team call. Bye.